Hello and good evening everybody. Hope you're ready for some more reading. I've got my book and as you can tell I've got my therapy buddies. Stand them up. So without further ado, shall we begin? Now you may know my voice is a little out at the moment. I have no idea why, but for some reason in the evenings my voice does this at the moment. I have no idea why. But without further ado, to get back into it, if you remember, we're about to talk about taxi drivers, otherwise known as the human sat-nav. So let's begin, shall we? London's black taxi cabs are famous all around the world. When you ask to be taken to an address on the other side of the capital, the driver will take the most efficient route there without getting lost or going in the wrong direction up a one-way street. How can they do this without looking at a map or a sat-nav? Because in order to learn your license to drive a black cab, you need to have passed an exam called the knowledge. Now, if you're not British, then you probably haven't heard this. It's probably about the same, but I'll give a quick explanation because I know what the knowledge is. It's basically a test that all taxi drivers in the United Kingdom have to take to show that they know their way around. Obviously don't know around the place where their license is based. So if you're London, you have to know your way around London. And they ask you things like if they might ask you, say, how do you get from, say, Sutton to Leighton, for example. And you might give them a route, and then they might say, well, if one road particularly on your route particularly is closed, then how would you go about it? And you have to answer those questions. Let's see if the book explains it. Probably better than I would. Just wanted to show off that I actually knew what the knowledge was. A black cab driver is expected to know about 25,000 streets in London and thousands of landmarks. He or she also has to be able to drive there from any point in the capital without making a mistake. In the knowledge exam, taxi drivers are asked to describe the routes they take between any places that the examiner might dream up. See? Just like I said. It's a huge mental undertaking and requires several years of study before candidates are ready to take the exam. They put in tons of practice, which many hopefuls do by zipping around the streets on a scooter. Right, we're turning page. Amazing, brain scans have shown that those who master the massive tangle of roads actually experience structural changes in their brains. They possess more grey matter, which is where mental processing takes place, compared to when they first set out on the streets. As they begin to make sense of the way the capital is connected, the brains build up new neural pathways to deal with the information required. So if you ever find yourself in a black cab, just think that the driver behind the wheels worked hard at building his or her super brain. Your brain has been specially designed to manage skills involving memory and visual processing. I'm doing this a lot tonight. Sorry about this, people. Start again. Your cabbie might not look exceptional, but watch them thread through the streets and you'll realise you're in the presence of a human sat-nav. That's an awesome feat of memory that takes masses of practice, but also goes to show just how adaptable the brain can be when it comes to helping you stand out from the crowd. Taxi drivers versus bus drivers. The mind match. In a similar piece of research, bus drivers were put under the spotlight with a brain scan. Now these men and women have to learn a lot of streets too, but not as many as taxi drivers, and that's the crucial difference. After all, bus drivers follow set routes and don't need to know every single part of the spaghetti bolognese tangle of roads, streets, avenues and cul-de-sacs that go into making up London. So the bus drivers' scans showed their brains had changed too, but here's the interesting bit. Their brains hadn't changed as much as the taxi drivers' brains had. Why? Because it just isn't as tricky to be a bus driver. You don't need to learn so many street names. Practice isn't quite as challenging, so the bus drivers didn't need to build as many neural pathways to their brains as taxi drivers. Now, One thing I will say, although bus drivers don't have to memorise as much, what they have to do is drive an absolutely massive vehicle through some very, very small streets which weren't really built with buses in mind. They also have to deal with a lot of people. Many of them will be angry and abusive. Some will just refuse to pay for their tickets. So next time you do get on a bus, just remember, you may not need as much brain power as a taxi driver, but they need a whole lot more mental strength just to get through the day. So the moral of the story is, the more challenging the practice, the more neural connections you build. Keep practicing. Don't put down your maths homework early if you want to be good at it. If you do, those connections might start disappearing faster than your Uncle Pete's hair. You want your brilliant practice to mean something. But you don't have to start from scratch. When it comes to shaping your brain to become awesome at stuff, just remember that you have already begun. I have. I know I've begun. Have you? Yes, I'm talking about you. Okay, you. Especially just you. Have you started it too? You know who I are. You know who you are. So, your worst case scenario. Making everyday tasks harder is a great way of training your brain. Do not be afraid to be curious. Try new things and never allow mistakes to put you off. Mistakes can actually help you to grow your brain. So can you think of ways to make your skate practice, or your maths homework, or your dance rehearsal just that little bit trickier to push you further? See, there's always ways you can do things. But as we're all trying to do different things, I'm not going to get into examples right now. But one thing I will say, actually one example I will give is my jogging, which I mentioned in the previous video, the worry jar. You get better at jogging by making yourself go further. And you could also make it trickier by giving yourself a set time. You could say, today I've done my distance in 20 minutes. So tomorrow I want to do it in 19. Or something like that. Chapter 4. Now here's an interesting thing. As human beings, we are becoming better at stuff all the time. In every area of endeavour, from sport to science, we are building our experience, raising our standards and using our brains to drive these achievements. At the 1900 Olympics, the winner of the men's 100 metres took the title in 11 seconds. Today, thanks to the power of practice, that time is regularly beaten by under 15s at national school championships. Way back in the 13th century, an English scholar called Roger Bacon argued that it was impossible to master maths in less than 40 years. Today we consider the kind of calculations he was talking about to be basic stuff we learn at school. Thinking about it, imagine you meet an athlete from the 1900s, just won the Olympics, record time, and you tell him that all that hard work is for naught because in the year 2026 it is now, there were children who are 15 years old beating his time. Do you reckon he'd be upset or happy? Maybe a bit of both. Back to the book. So we humans are better than ever, all thanks to the brain's neuroplasticity. But you still have to practice if you want to be the best you can be. As it turns out, you're already awesome at a lot of things. One thing I'm not awesome at is holding my selfie stick. I'm getting better though. I like to think I'm getting better at this. I really do. Getting good at stuff without trying. Let's do a reading test. Don't groan. Growth mindsets love a test. They are great practice. Now, I'm going to have to show you this bit. So it's asking you to look at a sentence. Top one here. This one. This one here, just above my finger. And what do you think that says? I'm going to leave this here for 5 seconds. In the meantime, you can pause the video to have a look. I'm going to have a proper read of it now. Learn... I have no idea what that says. You can't even read it backwards. So what does it say? You've seen this, but I'm going to quickly show you again. See? Peeling a banana is not easy while wearing woolen mittens. It probably isn't, but I've never tried because I'm not, if I'm honest with you, I don't like bananas. No offence to the fruit, but touching them creeps me out. Don't know why, just the touch of them just creeps me out. And if I'm honest, I've never put one in my mouth. I've had banana flavoured things which don't really do much for me. But just the look and feel of them. Ugh. But if you do like bananas, why not try peeling one wearing gloves? I mean, I doubt many people of you will have woolen mittens, but put gloves on your hands, like winter gloves, and see if you can peel a banana with it. Let me know in the comments if you do try it. I'd love to know. Both strings of letters have the same 49 characters, but the first one is total gobbledygook, utterly meaningless. The second, however, makes sense to you. You understand it. Why? Because you have developed a highly complex skill. Your pattern recognition with words in the English language, otherwise known as reading, is top notch. Now imagine a tiny baby. Do you think it will see any difference between the two strings of letters? No, not at all. Not a chance. None of us arrive in the world able to recognise the alphabet, so both sets of letters look like total nonsense to a newborn. Without realising it, you've probably spent hundreds of hours practising reading. It is a hugely complex skill, and I suspect you have never given it much thought. But does it make you think? If you can master this reading business with practice, why can't you master that violin piece you've been putting off learning? Or now that science topic that you think is way beyond you? Truth is, there is absolutely no reason why. Here are some really complex things you've practiced loads without really noticing. Number 1. The ability to recognise your best friend in a crowd. Recognising people we know is a super tricky thing to do. Think about it, almost everyone has the exact same features. 2 eyes, 2 ears and a nose. The tiny differences in appearance become really obvious when you spend a lot of time looking at other people. For all the practice we've had, we have unconsciously become really good at facial recognition. Now imagine you're trying to pick out a particular rat from a lineup of 40 rats. There is no chance you'd pick the same rat twice, right? They all look the same, don't they? Ugly things with their hairy tails and pointy noses. But if you put 40 children in a row, you'll pick out your best friend every single time. Let's face it, it would be friendship ending if you didn't. Yeah, I think I'd be pretty upset if one of my friends didn't recognise me in a crowd. That's just me though, I take things personally. Excuse me. Number 2. Rock, paper, scissors. Everyone knows that this is the best way to decide anything. I'm not sure why politicians don't use it more often. I actually won my brother's new bike off him after I convinced him to go a best of 3. That's the thing with rock, paper, scissors. Never go to a best of 3 if you won the first go. Ever. Quit while you're ahead. He didn't give me the bike. He was very angry. I think Mum and Dad would have been quite angry at that as well, quite frankly. I know mine would have been if my parents got me something new and I gave it to my sister after gambling away in a stupid game. Let's get back to the point. Rock, paper, scissors is a very complex thought process for our brains because of the mental backflips we do when trying to anticipate our opponent's next move. The more you play it, the more your brain becomes fine-tuned to the movements of the other person. You know, like that wild hand movement your mum makes when she's decided to go scissors. Then if you convince someone to go to best of 3, you actually start weighing up probabilities in your head. Is your dad really going to go rock 3 times in a row? So who said you can't do maths? Number 3, recognising patterns. Why do we look both ways before crossing the road? How do you know to run into the space on the football pitch where your friend can pass you unmarked? Because you've seen these patterns before. You've learned to assess the risk, the benefit of staying on the pavement for a few extra seconds, the likelihood that he will strike the ball properly for once and not hoof it off the pitch like an over-enthusiastic horse. Warning. Sometimes our pattern recognition is a bit too good though. That's why sometimes people think they see the face of Jesus in a piece of burnt toast, or look at a clown and think it looks exactly like Taylor Swift's latest haircut. So we are already brilliant at loads of complex things. We are, in all honesty, already totally awesome. We just need to apply this awesomeness to stuff you'd like to get good at. You've clearly got the skills. Now all you need is practice. But not all practice is equal. Not all practice is as useful as growing your brain and creating neural connections. There are different types of practice and some are much more effective than others. Yes, I know this is a bit of a blow. How on earth are we supposed to know what to focus on? Time is precious. We don't want to be wasting it on something that is totally pointless. Let's have a look at what this means. Ask yourself this simple question. Can you ride a bicycle? And it's got a little flowchart here. I'll leave it on there for a few seconds so that you have enough time to pause and look at it. And I think that's enough, so I'm going to quickly read it for me. Can I ride a bicycle? Yes, I can. Riding around your back fence gone is not going to create any new pathways. Do you want to be able to do wheelies? No, I don't. Take it sand collecting. It's less risky. Have you seen the price of stamps these days? It's very expensive. I don't want to do wheelies on a bike. I'll be honest with you, I don't ride a bike outside. I have an exercise bike which I ride for about 3-4 days a week. I like to do about half hour on a tight setting. I don't ride them outside because that's just dangerous and asking to get killed in my opinion. I've seen the way cars drive. And my dad's told me enough stories now about how he's almost been knocked off his bike just going to the shops. It's enough to put me off. Now I hope you've got the picture. The picture that really works, that builds those strong and lasting neural connections as practice that challenges you. The hard stuff, the stuff that might make your eyes water, muscles ache and your brain hurt. The screw your face up, grit your teeth kind of practice that makes you feel good about yourself afterwards because you know you've achieved something. No one gets good at stuff by practicing the things they can already do. Can you walk? The answer is probably yes. Now that you can do it easily, do you get any better the more you practice walking? Now here's the thing, actually you can. Or rather it's like jogging, you get better at doing it for longer. Your body learns to be able to do it for longer. It's like the other day when I walked to Brighton. I could walk to Brighton, but I don't know if I'd be able to walk to Brighton and back home. Not without my feet dropping off. But I can already do the halfway bit, as I found out the other day. So in theory, I should one day walk to Brighton and then plan to walk all the way back home. I mean, why not? Or maybe I could just walk a bit further. Say instead of walking to Brighton Pier, I could walk to say Brighton Marina. Maybe walk a bit further on after that, and after Peacehaven maybe. Wouldn't be a bad idea. I mean, heck, I remember last year I did tell my dad I'd walk to Bognor one day. And he said if I did it, he'd buy me lunch. You know? Does it make me better at walking? I don't know, but it means I can do it for longer. To screw your face up, grit your teeth kind of practice that makes you feel good about yourself afterwards because you know you have achieved something. See, that's the feeling I got when I done 5k jogging this morning. I actually done it. I'm pretty proud of myself. Considering enjoying the jog itself, I didn't think I'd finish. I did. So I can do it again, and again, and again. No one gets good at stuff by practicing the things they can already do. Can you walk? The answer is probably yes. Now that you can do it easily, do you get any better the more you practice walking? We've already discussed this. It's a yes and a no. It is all too easy to revise for an exam lying on the sofa, one eye on social media, one eye on the page of French words you're supposed to be learning. That isn't hard practice. Getting up, putting your French words away and reciting them several times to your gran. That would be hard practice. You would make some mistakes, but guess what? You'd also be creating neural pathways in your French vocab learning, and would be more likely to remember the words next time. Or some people get good at stuff by doing the time practice that challenges them. It's a secret to their success, but we're not just talking about people who have become world famous in their chosen field. Here's how you, yes you, can practice effectively. Number 1. Sport. Practice with people better than you. And sad fact, there is always someone betting you, unless of course you are already world number 1. Practice hard shots, tricky passes, use your other foot if you're playing a foot-based game. You can't really do that if you're swimming. Number 2, presentations. Recite the presentation in the mirror, then say it to your cat and again to your sister. It might be daunting. Your cat or your sister, maybe even both, could possibly laugh at you. But it will make it easier when you have to stand up in front of the class. Number 3, maths. Go on, do the questions you find difficult, not the ones you can already do. And when you get stuck, don't be afraid to ask for help. Number 4, learning a language. Speak it, don't be shy, speak in public to your friends or teachers who can give you feedback and tell you where you are making mistakes. Number 5, revising for exams. Don't sit there looking blankly at your revision notes, convince yourself that the stuff is going in. Do questions from previous test papers and time yourself to get used to working in test-like conditions. Remember my brother? That's the author's brother, not my personal brother. I don't have a brother. Or if I do, my parents have somehow hidden him from me all this time. Back to the book. Remember my brother? The super competitive one? The one who still owes me a brand new BMX? He was older and better than me at table tennis. He gave me the stretching practice I needed in the garage. He was faster than me, stronger than me, better than me. But if you meet him, don't tell him I said that though. It will only go to his head. Excuse me. Later on in my career, I moved all over Europe to get practice partners that were better than me. It was hard. I needed to practice against opponents who could send me shots I couldn't return at first. So I'd be ready, relaxed even when those shots came to me at the Olympics. No offense, but I wouldn't have gone very far playing your dad for practice, unless of course your dad is called Sanshike or Marlin. If I butchered those Chinese names, then I can only apologise to my Chinese watching audience, if indeed you do exist. Obviously Chinese people 6, I mean the Chinese people who may or may not be watching my videos. I probably don't have an audience in China. Very unlikely. Not impossible, but very unlikely. Actually, if you are Chinese, maybe let me know in comments. And perhaps you could tell me that you're not too offended by me butchering the names of your fellow countrymen. They are probably not Olympic standard and so not difficult enough opponent. Practicing with him, this is your mate's dad by the way, would be the table tennis equivalent of walking around your own bedroom. And that, people, is where we leave it. Next time we'll be discussing the secret of practice, where we will be meeting such famous people as Lionel Messi and Benjamin Franklin. You know, because them two are totally related. So, what have we learned tonight? We learned that if we want to get better at things, we have to challenge ourselves. I mean, it's common sense, but it's not something you really think about much. At least saying, not I don't anyway. On that, all I can say to you people is please keep if you're doing something, please keep practicing. You can only get better if you keep practicing. If you're not practicing something, find something to practice. You never know. Something good could happen. Or you may just end up being slightly better about yourself, which is always a good thing. So until next time, take care of yourselves, people. Bye.